So today's guest, I won't say favorite cocktail, but the cocktail she asked for is a Lychee Hugo Spritz, which I'm actually really excited to do because the Hugo Spritz is delicious. It's very easy to make. You're gonna need your elderflower, which you might have heard in the form of Saint Germain. Saint Germain is just a brand. Just so you know, elderflower is the flavor. Prosecco, a little bit of seltzer water. We're gonna be using Lychee in a can. Comes with the fruit and the juice. And our glass today is gonna be this kind of tall stemless flute Collins combination. Right. We're actually not going to shake. Everything is built inside of the glass today. So the first thing we're going to do is actually go in with mint that I didn't mention. You do need mint. Put that at the bottom of your glass. Then we're going to go in with a splash of Lychee. If you notice today, I'm not really measuring anything. It's not one of those cocktails you need to measure. You can do this with your heart, honest. You're gonna do about 2 ounces of elderflower. You can do more, you can do less. Don't really care. Everything looks about even. We're gonna go in with our ice now. Fill them up all the way to the top. Less ice doesn't mean more alcohol. It means that your drink gets watered down faster, which is exactly what you're trying to avoid. Am I correct? I'm correct. I know I'm correct. You don't need to tell me I'm correct. It's okay. So fill them all the way up. And now we're going to go in with our Prosecco, which I would have had open prior, but like on episode 5 when I did this, I left it open and the cork literally shot into the ceiling. I could have damaged that guy's like fine china thing. I didn't get no money for that. So tilt your glass while pouring your Prosecco. It'll help kind of dilute the bubbles a bit. And this is really the main portion of the alcohol. There's a little bit of alcohol in your elderflower liqueur. So if you really want this to be heavy-handed, go heavier on the Prosecco and lighter on the spritz, which I would say is the seltzer. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you could get like a flavored seltzer water and add an extra layer of flavor. But that's not what she asked for. She gets what she asked for. I'm gonna top her off with a little bit of seltzer. Our garnish, which will be a Lychee each. Well, you know what? Let's not be cheap. It's my Lychee. It's my cocktail. 2 Lychees, 3 Lychee. Everybody gets a Lychee. Did you know that Oprah Winfrey gave all those people cars and then they had to pay $5,000 or like $6,000 on taxes on them? It's actually true. I found out on TikTok, and everybody knows everything on TikTok is true. Take a little bit more of your mint. Just place that on top. And that is a Lychee Hugo Spritz. Welcome back to Shake Sip Spill. I am your host, the Spirit Curator. Co-host is my mother, Julie. And today we are with Lord Elise. let me drink first. Because she already said she's been dying to sip.
I've been dying for a sip.
A Lychee Hugo Spritz. Perfect. It's a beautiful
Cheers.
Day.
Cheers. It is gorgeous. The sun is shining. You cannot go wrong with anything lychee. I'm there.
Honestly.
So refreshing, right?
Uh-oh.
Do you hate it? She hates
What I know what's crazy is that her favorite drink is a Bloody Mary. So I feel like it couldn't be more opposite.
I like Bloody Marys though. Is it my favorite? No. I need like eggs with it.
Like breakfast, like actual food, like not just out here drinking a Bloody Mary. What? Brunch. Oh yes, it is a full. Okay. It's quite funny to me because we're on a little bit of a time crunch. and we're doing this for Mother's Day, and like this is like the epitome of like being a mother.
100%.
She was supposed to have the day off. She had a day free. She came to hang out with us, get a little lit, and then things happen, and now she's like, I gotta pick up my kid, and it's like motherhood. It never stops. No matter what happens, no matter how much you plan, no matter what,
It does not
it
matter.
just don't stop. And it's just like, apparently, based off my mother yesterday, it wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I asked my mother to acknowledge that I was a mother of 2 beautiful girls, and she absolutely refused.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna say, I guess I don't know much about motherhood, but I'm gonna say that if my cat was to call me, if Anchovy was to call me and say, meow, that's mom. I need you to come home. I'm just saying.
I cannot.
I just wanted a little whatever. Okay, you guys. So I met Lourdes at the job that I currently work at, and that was in September of 2024. So we're only, what is it, like 7, maybe 8 months or something like that?
8 months in.
And in that time, how long had you worked at Otomi? I'm not ignoring my mom. Just that we want to make sure we give full attention to more. How long were you working? I'm not going to say the name because I don't want y'all to know where I work. How long were you working there?
I had started not too long ago. I was coming off of being a stay-at-home mom. I had done that for 2 years. I had my 2 boys back to back, and something needed to change. It's almost like when you get stuck in the day-to-day, I was like, I need to go back to work. And in April of last year is when I started.
So April, and now it's April, so that's a full year now, right?
Full year.
She was like, I gotta get out of this house.
Oh my God.
I gotta get out of this house.
Otherwise I will lose it. And that's how it was happening from day to day. I would be home all day. I loved it, but you almost miss the connection of like having your own life, having your own identity. It's really a struggle when all you're doing is taking care of the kids and taking care of the house and cooking. And then before you know it, you're like, you just lose yourself.
That's one of the questions I feel like I've asked most is like, especially because you do content creation. How is it to still want to try to achieve a dream, but also still want to achieve the dream of being that there, a parent, you know, like great mother, you know, you're only 31 and there's still so much of life to live, and there's so much, especially now where it's like, maybe it's a little bit different, but like to think like you can make a living off of content creating is like.
So in the process of content creation, it's funny that you bring that up because for the longest time, I was always the friend that loved creating content before it was even like called that. That's what I was into. And I still keep my vlogs up to this day. You can see them from when Valentina was like 2 years old. And then I took like a long break because the difficulty of sharing your life online or sharing your life with people, you're letting them into a very like private part of you. So there were times when I was younger, I was a mom for the first time. I was single. I was doing it by myself. So when you're doing that, I was 20 when I had her. Everyone is growing up. Everyone's doing their own thing. You're kind of like, I didn't really care. I was like, okay, I'm a single mom. It is what it is. I'm going to figure it out. And that's what I did. I ended up figuring it out for the longest time. And I was just living my life, just doing whatever. And I feel like a lot of people have this same struggle where it's like, you want to share, you want to let people know what you're up to, kind of because I wanted everyone to be like, oh, damn, she's doing it. You know, she's
that
doing
little
it by
bit of
herself.
validation.
It's that validation, especially when you're younger. That's all that really matters. You're like, okay, I'm a single mom, but I'm going to kill it doing it, you know? And I did that for the longest. I went to school, I was studying, and I had a lot of help. Like, that is one thing that is super important that I tell everybody when you have kids is it doesn't matter who your village is, but you need to have a village, because even today, like my village all tapped out on me. Like I have no one to help me today, but most days it's not a problem. So
I mean, it happens, you know?
And it happens. And if I didn't have those people to back me up, I would not be able to do half the stuff that I do, you know? And it makes it so much harder.
And I before we came in, I had actually, so there's 3. You have Valentina, which is the oldest.
She's the one that I had when I was 20. She's 11, gonna be 12 in September.
And you just recently, it was so cute. Oh my God. Lourdes is Sometimes I look at her and I'm like, well, not bread making. I'm not sure if you made bread.
I did.
Like sourdough bread? Like bread?
I made raisin bread and regular.
Bread.
Ooh,
So
nice.
she's out here making so many similarities, minus the Bloody Mary cocktail, apparently.
She likes Bloody Mary. She
I
just
do
likes
like
to
Bloody
eat with
Mary.
hers.
I do. I like a little spicy Bloody Mary. It reminds me
See?
of a shrimp cocktail. All that's missing is like a shrimp and a piece of bacon.
And that's why, sidebar, that's why people put fried chicken legs inside of their Bloody Mary
See, that
as
sounds
garnishes.
fire. I take shots of Bloody Mary mix at work sometimes. They're so good. Like once we make them, they're so good. Remember, I tried to have you have a sip. You were like,
No, I'm a virgin. I don't even want it with alcohol. I don't want it without
Oh
alcohol.
my god! For me, it's the tomato sauce. I love tomato sauce. I love tomato juice. Like literally anything.
Other than Alessandro, other than Latanzi's bucatini,
Oh my god, the bucatini. The bucatini is
God,
delish.
I don't like red sauce. You're not gonna
So
have it barely.
good.
Nah, I'm a creamy white girl.
Oh really? See, I do not like that.
Oh, okay, Literally. I think we're having our first fight. Oh my god.
Listen, I swear. Once you go red, you'll realize.
Well, maybe. Okay. Well, I bring up the comparison because she just had a sleepover for her birthday, right?
Yeah, for her birthday.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't her
Was it
birthday. The sleepover was just for no reason. She
Oh,
just
on
wanted
top
a
of that.
sleepover.
What did you do? You had like little outfits for them, matching outfits or something?
No, I had gotten matching eye masks.
There we go.
I picked up like face masks, sheet masks. I set up a whole like blow up bed for them to have like a slumber party.
So
extraordinaire.
you coded.
So me.
I literally said she would have like
So
my
many
friends
of her
come over
pictures,
and
yeah.
like there'll be arts and crafts and
Arts
like
and
we'd have
crafts.
like blank white t-shirts and
Yeah.
we don't
Tie-dye.
hand tie dyes or
Mhm.
hand things or whatever. And it'd be like
Everybody went home with little bags
And
and
it's so
t-shirts.
much fun. And for me, I really love doing that stuff. Like it's almost like you're living your childhood through your kids.
Yes.
So then everything that like you would want as a kid, I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing that. Like I know they're gonna love it. And all her friends always come over like, oh my god, she'll be talking about it at school. And the problem is we live in New York. We have a small apartment. We do have 3 bedrooms. So I'm grateful, but we live in a smaller apartment. So every time she wants to invite people over, it'll be like, oh, can I invite so and so, like Ariel and whoever, 2 people. I'm like, okay, great. Before you know it, why was there 5 girls in the house? Like 5 girls.
Just like that's the house they want to go
And then
to.
on
That's
top
the
of
fun
that,
house.
yeah, the fun house.
and then on top of that, you have my 2 little boys running around in between, trying to be a part of it.
How old are they?
Jackson is 3. He will be 4 in July. He's a very emotional Cancer. And then we have,
aren't they emotional?
they really are. Then we have Julian. He just turned 2 in February.
Oh, so when you mean back to back, you mean back to back.
Oh yeah.
I was going to name Alexander Julian.
Yeah, she had a thing with J names. My name was
I
like
love
Jewel
J
or
names.
something because her name is Jewel. So everything's gonna be like Julian and Jewel and
She was supposed to be Jewel, and her middle name is supposed to be Lee.
Oh, that's pretty. Jewel.
and now I won't. Not telling y'all my middle name. I was gonna say then people can piece together my whole entire government. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never mind. Never mind. Mind your business. So that's a big gap in age.
Mhm.
I think the furthest gap you have is me and my oldest brother, who is 5 years gap? I
5,
think.
yeah. It was 5, 4, and 3.
How
But in between, it was 10 and I think 10, something like that.
Wow.
in the total, right?
In the
Between
total,
first
because
and the last one,
Michael and Denzel are 10 years apart.
and then you have Alex though.
Alex was 3 years younger, so he's 25? Yeah. So you and him were 7 years apart, but yeah.
I think
Oh wow! So that's how Valentina and Jackson are. They're 7 years apart. She was turning 8, and he was like a few months or whatever. The case
How
is.
was that though? How was it? Oh, I have multiple questions. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out.
Bring it.
First question is, how was it? Because my mother she loves to famously like to call her that she didn't want a daughter. She only wanted boys. How was it the first kid being a girl? And is there a bond that you feel like you might have with? Because she'll tell me, and we've talked about it, just like that first kid, especially when you're growing up with them and you're not at a certain age, or you're still learning, you're still growing up. There's a different sort of bond. That doesn't make it more than with your other children, but I mean, is that a true thing?
So this question is kind of layered, and I'm going to give it to you as honest and as vulnerable as I can be. So just come to terms with the fact that I was 19 years old. I was gearing up and knowing that I was going to do this completely alone. So, with that in mind, I feel like at that age, once I found out, the only thing I could think of was being a girl mom because I'm a girl, and when you know a father figure isn't going to be there, you kind of want the boys to have their dads.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, I remember like the day that I found out I was pregnant, I had already been 20 weeks along. Most people would already know this is about halfway through the pregnancy. I always joke that my first pregnancy was like so easy because I was already halfway there.
Yeah. That's how you figure it out.
I was like, shit, I passed all the sickness. I did not get sick. I was good. And it's funny because I remember once I found out that literal week, I started feeling kicks in my stomach. And I was like, oh my God, if I would have waited, I would have thought I had gas or something.
What
like,
is
I
this?
couldn't believe it. Like indigestion. Right now. And so I remember wanting a girl so bad because I was like, you know what? Because I feel like a girl can always have her mom. So it just brought comfort to me knowing that I was going to be alone. I'd have my family, but I had my little girl with me and she wouldn't need for nothing, you know? And that's kind of how it was. So,
do you think that having a stepfather, in your life, and that like stayed around, you know what I mean? Do you think that played in any sort of like of the mindset of it's not that it's not possible, but I can only imagine that once you have a kid and you know, a lot of men are not maybe interested in raising a child that isn't theirs or you know what I mean?
Right.
But having someone who stepped in your life and helped raise you and treat you like their own, because when you talk about them and you say my dad, you know what I mean? Like, so that's gotta mean something. Do you think that played in the role of it being like, I'm not worried about if I want to find love again or anything like that? Because
I know what you mean. And in terms of worried about finding love, I wasn't worried, but I do feel like when I dated, I either didn't want to date at all or I was dating and I would take it really seriously. I feel like when I was in my early 20s, it was almost like, I remember my daughter's father at the time, or sperm donor, whatever, he wanted me to get rid of it, obviously, once I found out. And I was like, absolutely not, because when I had found out that late, you have to make certain decisions that I just wasn't prepared to make. And he was like, you have a lot of life to live, like you're gonna ruin your life, all this stuff, being really negative on the pregnancy. And although I wasn't excited for it, obviously who would want to be, but I knew I was trying to be very positive. You know how I am. I try to be very positive with everything. Anytime anyone's having a bad day, I'm not having that. You can fall and you can slip down, but you pick yourself back up and you figure it out because you made your bed, you gotta lie in it. And either way, when I found out, I was like, I don't need you. I was like, I will never be bitter or anything. If you want to come around, feel free. And I did let him for like the first few years of her life, but he always flaked. And that's okay. If you weren't ready, I understand, but I didn't have a choice. I had to get ready.
Yeah.
So once you get ready, I remember I was always just like the mom of the group. Like that's just, I embraced my role. That's what I had to
That's
be.
what you are now, yeah?
Yeah. So when I got into that, I was just always very positive and open about dating. Like, did I have a few slip ups here and there? Yeah. But I took it very seriously. I wouldn't want anyone around my daughter unless I felt like comfortable. But a lot of times it wasn't that hard because I was just very friendly with people. So I was always in friend environments. I'd bring my baby with me. Everyone would be like, oh, we're coming to hang out. Like, as long as you weren't doing nothing crazy in front of me, like I would come, bring my daughter, we would go for a little bit and then I'd bounce. And I wouldn't feel like I was missing out. It was just like always natural to me.
I feel like that's a good point of it all, is trying to be able to balance it. Yeah. To be able to do it all, which is like, it's impossible. I feel like to be able to do it all in any aspect, no children, whatever, like there's too much to do. It's not possible. But as a mother, from the last two that I've interviewed and my own, of course, it's like you want to make sure that you still are yourself,
Right.
but you give the best that you can to your kids. And it's like in the year that you were working, you went from serving bartending to now like you're a manager now. Like we're talking day in the lives went from shaking tins to now she's like we're gonna plug
Right.
your socials, of course. You can look at her, you go to her stories or see her blog, and now she's like got glasses on and she's like typing in the computer, making schedules, like
Yeah. All the boring
you know?
stuff now.
And but in the same token, she's what made me even ask her to come on the show was not just because she's a mother, like, but because she's a homemaker who's also doing what she needs to do to make herself happy, as in like the content creating, who's also maintaining that 9 to 5 and progressing in it. It's not just okay, I'm working because I have to work. Like I'm working and I'm progressing in it in a year's time, which for a woman of color in general, like it's really not that easy.
Right.
So I just think that I was floored by the positive person, like the personality of. She's so positive. I'd be at work, like, you know, I'm not a negative
it's the
Nancy,
village.
but
Yeah,
It's the village.
it really is the
It
village.
is.
And I say that all the time because if I didn't have my family supporting me, I didn't have my brothers, my friends, whoever has ever supported me and helped me in this motherhood journey, if I could be like, listen, I have to go to work at so-and-so time. Can you stay with this person? Can you pick so-and-so up? Valentina has cheer. My daughter does cheer. She does soccer. She does softball. She's in the school play. She does a lot.
She kept
in
us
honor
busy.
rolls.
That's what she
It
did.
keeps her busy. Half the time they're like, oh, I'm like, I haven't even seen you in like a day or a half, you know, because we're so crisscross. A lot of times, sometimes I find myself wanting the normal 9 to 5 hours, but a part of me enjoys like having the fluidity and the versatility in my schedule because
It makes it not monotonous.
it makes it, one, not monotonous, and two, I can have my mornings. I like having my slow mornings. I like going to my workouts. I like doing what I need to do.
That's what I mean. Like she's going to workouts. She got the actual workout outfit. She's so cute. She makes bread. She has like red and white checkered little like tablecloth. She is like I don't know how she does it. Hold on, wait. Time check. I think it's like a 1:18 right now.
Okay.
So let's see how you feel about.
Yeah. Let's do another few minutes just because I'm scared of getting stuck. Hold on, let's check the GPS because in New York you never know.
Mommy do this, mommy do this.
Hold on. Yeah, it's still saying about 45 minutes. We got like 10 minutes. All right. Oh, sorry. No. There we go.
How about you don't say that out
You
loud?
had your daughter for so long. How do you like having those boys?
Those boys are very wild.
Aren't they?
Keep me on my
They
toes.
run it. Look at her face.
They
I
are so
know.
clingy. They drive me insane, but they love their
They're
moms.
so
A boy
boys love
moms.
their mothers.
Somebody make a song.
My daughter's
So,
at the age where she
Can
doesn't
somebody
like
make
me
a
right
movie
now.
Yeah.
out
so
of
I'm kinda
Louisiana
biased.
bounce to Boys Love Their Mother? if somebody could take that soundbite and give me a Louisiana bounce to Boys Love Their Mother, I would love
but
you
when they're so
much,
small like that
please.
with their little jeans and t-shirts and they're rambunctious and they're running all over the
They're
place.
running
Their little
all over.
jeans and
It's nice.
t-shirts.
It is. It's so cute.
And
because
they fight all
What
day.
about my bows and my dresses?
I know.
I
but
kind
you
of
were
miss
so
that
cute
though.
too.
I miss.
When she was a girl, she was the girly girl. She had the
yeah.
bobos, and she had the hair was always done, the
That's
shoes
my
were always
daughter.
matching.
I used
She
to
was-
sit and braid her hair
yes.
for like hours. I'd be sitting there for like 4 hours, put on a movie. She'd be like, "Mommy, I want small braids." I'm like, "Okay," sitting there doing mad braids, doing her hair. So now she doesn't let me touch her hair unless it's to straighten it. And then, even then, now she is in the she doesn't like me phase, but she made me a really nice Mother's Day card. She's like, "I know you're always doing your best, but I love you forever." Like, yes.
And then the next day she was like, "Don't touch me, Mom."
Literally every day.
So I don't care. I do want a boy cat. Now that we're talking about
my
children.
God.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where do you what is your impression of mothers? What do you think? Or do you think it's like an age thing?
She thinks it's an age thing. I'm not worried about that. I'm only 32.
Right.
By her counts, I still got at least 3 years to pop a baby out before all of
You're
a sudden my
geriatric.
eggs, you know what I'm saying?
Before you're geriatric, you know.
Feel me? So I still got at least 3 years. That's a lot of days. 365 times 3, you do the math. Whatever that number is. That's how much time I got.
It's
But
teetering on the edge.
Teetering on the edge. The answer was always never.
Never?
Now,
Why
be
do you
happy.
feel your
Just
answer is
one.
never?
Because it's too much of a commitment and I'm too selfish. I'm still too inconsistent.
Yeah.
I feel like the generation that I'm in, like, and we're in the same generation, but mentally, I think most of us are like, I'm not making enough money. And I'm just, it has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with partying. Like, I'm just not making enough money.
Right.
And we're talking about a lifelong commitment. They say until you're 18, she's not getting rid of me until she dies.
I'm dead.
I'm just saying, it's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
I still call her and be like, so what do I gotta do when I call the doctor? I tell them, what?
Oh, what?
I'm 32. I'm not gonna hold you. And so my thing is, it's that, and I know that because, and that's why I want to honor like mothers and also the fathers in June. You guys are coming, because do you know the willpower it takes for you to say, okay, I'm not gonna get anything I want for a long fucking time, if ever. Like, let's be real. Like,
that's true.
And it's not so much a negative thing where it's like it's the worst thing in the world. It's just, I'm aware of that, and I know that I don't
it's your
want to
mindset.
do that.
Now,
I think it is
I'm
your
not
mindset.
there yet. I just don't want to do that. I want
different.
to try to.
Even though you had your kids young, I had my kids young, but I was the type that I had them. I'm going to raise them. I'm going to be with them. This is my life now.
Yeah, that
but
me too.
I was fine with that.
Me too. I feel
until I had the last one. Then it was like, I gotta get the hell out of this
house. Right. So for me, I'm gonna say,
you know,
I think because I was thrown into this situation, it was different. Because was I ready to have kids? No. But once you already kind of have to like,
almost like you gotta jump in with your feet in and just
19.
keep on going.
I was 19 and I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I'm having her at 20 because I beat my teen pregnancies. Okay.
Hello.
I was a teenager.
Baby.
Okay. I was not 19, I was 20.
I was 20 when I had
So when I figured that out, I feel like it honestly throws you on a trajectory where you're gonna constantly be thinking about your life, because now I'm like, all right, I gotta go to school. I gotta get my degree. What am I gonna do with my degree? Is it gonna make me enough money if I'm a single mom? Is it gonna allow to provide for my child in the lifestyle that I wanna live? So then once you're there, then all of a sudden I'm like dating, having a great time. You're still trying to have fun, but then I'm like, I'm not trying to have my kids so far apart. So now I'm like, I gotta find a man. And then I'm like in a relationship that doesn't serve me. And I feel like I was listening to a few podcasts because I am a podcast listening girly. And I was listening to this girl, and she is also a single mom. She's younger than me, but I just found her recently. Her name's like Kate Matheny on YouTube. And she was talking about how you really have to find yourself and love yourself before, because it's very easy to get caught up in the, oh my God, I love you phase with someone, even though that relationship is no longer serving you. It's not doing anything for you. It's not providing anything towards your future. And you have to be very mindful about people that you're dating, people that you're allowing into your space, even your energy. Because now if you have someone sucking the life out of you, they are sucking the life out of you, out of your relationships with your friends, now with your family. And it's like you're already half a parent to a kid. Now all of a sudden you're making me like 1/4. Like I can't do that. And I was in a relationship like that. And when I finally got out of that, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I packed up my bags. I moved to Florida. I found myself an apartment. I found myself a job. And I chose Florida because, one, I have family there. And remember, I was talking about that village. You kind of need those people around you. Otherwise, it just doesn't work, because now you're going to be struggling and alone. So do you want to be struggling and with people that you love, or do you want to be struggling and being alone? Like
that causes you to make the wrong decisions, because now you're alone and struggling, and that's how you end up kind of falling back on whatever it is that you said I'm not going to do, regardless of what that is.
Right. And to be honest, I mean, I did go there and I was still struggling. I ended up moving back because I hadn't finished my bachelor's degree. I had gotten my associates. I thought I was good, and I moved out of my parents' house to move into an apartment for my own. I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I had 2 gyms. I had 2 pools. And I was like, la, 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 la. And then you realize bills. And I was like, Mommy, I need to come back. Like, I was like, this is not working. We need to figure it out. And I came back to New York. I finished my degree. I went back to school. And I was like, I'm going to be single. I'm going to rock out. And then I met my man like three months after I moved back. And we've been here ever since. So.
And 2 babies later.
COVID was a long year, y'all. My son definitely was a COVID baby. And that's okay. That's okay. I did a lot of decorating and a lot of getting pregnant. So,
it was a real active COVID for Lord Lee. So.
Oh, yeah.
But see, look, checking time.
Time, sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
It's completely fine. We got maybe 5 minutes tops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the trivia.
All right.
You didn't escape the trivia.
I love me some trivia, girl.
So, you're gonna have 60 seconds.
Okay.
You want to answer as many as possible. You feel like you don't know the answer? Pass. Keep it pushing.
Got it.
Gotcha? It's gonna start after I read the very first question.
Mm-hmm.
Here are your categories.
Okay.
You have rock and pop, TV and film, fun and games, people, places, science and nature, past and present.
TV and film for 500.
Right. For 500, Spirit Curator, please. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's get into it. Ready, Lord?
I'm ready.
Turn.
Oh, no. After I read the first question. Jack Torrance proclaims, "Here's Johnny," in which iconic horror film?
Oh, I do not know that one. Pass.
What is the last name of the family featured in the TV Family Guy?
Family Guy. Oh, damn it. Hold on. I can't think of it right now. I thought I was good at this. I suck. Pass.
What Nickelodeon kids program, come on, featured 5 friends who used their imaginations to turn their backyard into epic adventures?
Backyard again?
Oh, my girl. Eye of the Tiger is the theme song for Rocky. Which Rocky film?
Oh, bitch, you got me fucked up. The original Rocky?
Nope.
Rocky 4.
Nope.
Rocky 5.
No.
8.
You keep going higher.
Rocky 2.
One more number.
Rocky 3.
Damn, I right. Which actress has been nominated for 20 Academy Awards? More nominations than any other actor.
I didn't even know someone had that many. Pass.
Yes.
Yeah, oh shit. Name
Name
the actress and the character she played who famously wore a black dress in the film Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, Audrey Hepburn.
Yes. And we're going to give you one more. Bonus, which fictional family occasionally watched the Itchy and Scratchy show?
A fictional family? Pass. I don't know that one. Which one was that one?
All right, let's go into the answers. You guys already know this. That's how it is every single time. It's like, I know this. And every time Ronnie's here, when a guest is here, I always have to point out that Ronnie chose.
Bullshit.
Ronnie chose past and present. Why the fuck would you ever?
Never. So TV and film I'm usually kind of good at, and it just depends on the questions. I just got a handful that I didn't know. I'm not that bad.
I saw Nickelodeon. I said, all right, she's gonna know this. It's about to be a 3. She gotta know this. Okay. Please let them know where they can find you. We
You
want your
can
YouTube
find
and all
me at Life with Lur. That's 3 R's at the end. And I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram and YouTube.
Are you on the Facebook.com, as my mother says?
On the Facebook.com, I do have a Facebook, but I don't go in there.
Facebook.com.
As you all know, you can find my mother at Julie Floyd backspace, Facebook.com. Okay. And oh my gosh, I feel like for a very quick and cutesy episode, we got a lot covered.
We really did.
I really feel like talk.
We went through it. Listen, I am a time blocking queen. We gotta go.
She's and that's how she became a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
Of course. Thank you for having me.